even the most hardcore atheists, if they get on a plane and they hit turbulence, they're going to pray to God.
There you go. So that's right. And not to be like an egghead, but that's been demonstrated empirically. And so Ernest Becker has all of these ideas, and a lot of people dismiss them on the grounds that there was no evidence for them. And that's where Tom and Jeff and I come in, because we are experimental psychologists by trade, and we developed some very simple laboratory paradigms to just see if these ideas have any scientific merit. And so one of the paradigms is where we just remind people that they're going to die someday. You know, sometimes they're in the lab and we're like, write down your thoughts and feelings about your own death. Sometimes we do this outside of the lab, and we stop people either in front of a funeral parlor or 100 meters to either side. And our thought is if you're standing in front of a funeral parlor, death is on your mind, whether you know it or not. And then we do other studies. When you're at Skidmore, where I work next, you'll come to my office and you'll read stuff on my computer. And while you're doing that, I'll flash the word death for 28 milliseconds, so fast that you don't even see it. All right. And the point is that you do not need to know that death is on your mind for it to have striking attitudinal and behavioral effects. All right. So, for example, back to religion, Danny, if we remind devout Christians that they're going to die, and then we ask them, how much do you believe in God? And how much do you think that prayer is effective? Death reminders make religious believers, not only Christians, but Buddhists and Muslims also, I believe, they make them more confident in the existence of God and the efficacy of prayer. All right, here's where it gets interesting. If you ask an atheist how much they believe in God, of course, they're going to say not at all. Right? And then if you remind an atheist that they're going to die, and you say, how much do you believe in God? They actually say that they believe in God even less. All right, so just hold that thought, because basically when we remind people that they're going to die, they double down on their prevailing worldview. Right? So if you believe in God, you're going to believe in God more. If you don't believe in God, you're going to believe in God less. If you're conservative and we remind you you're going to die, you're more conservative. If you're liberal, you become more liberal. But back to the atheists for a minute. If we measure fear of death unconsciously, then the atheists as well as the Christians become more engaged with the supernatural when they're reminded of death. All right, so on the one hand, unconsciously. All right, so that's where you get the phrase, there's no atheists in the foxholes. Yeah, when push comes to shove, we all have the proverbial rabbit's foot that we're clutching in the fervent hope that we're not summarily obliterated.